we doing? Garrett Byrd here, Storage Authority Franchising. This is we help busy professionals, look for self-storage, get built in self-storage, and this is all while they're keeping their career in their own business. We're entering an era where REITs, like real estate investment trusts, hedge funds, real estate syndications, and franchises are really in the mode of building now. So I'm really happy to introduce DIANE ROSENKRANTZ. She has this great tool that few of our owners have deployed. So really excited to bring her on. So DIANE, she's with Tenet Financial. Can you tell us a little bit about you and your background?
All right, perfect. Yeah, this has been a great relationship. I've worked with you and your team for years, and certainly have helped many clients. So, Tenet is a company that specializes in specific funding options, and I've been with Tenet for over a decade now, and look forward to the opportunity to enlightening and sharing information about our non-debt funding option.
Awesome. Yeah, no, honestly, I didn't, I really wasn't even sure what the ROBS program was. And to our viewers and listeners, you'll hear us mention that quite a bit. It's a rollover as a business startup. And what a fantastic tool. But can you tell us, exactly what is the ROBS program?
Absolutely. It is, in essence, a non-debt funding option. It goes hand in hand with the opportunity for an individual to be getting a loan, and it's allowing them to tap into pre-tax retirement funds penalty-free and without taking a taxable distribution, and having those funds be completely liquid and being able to be used as that bank cash injection.
That's great. That's great. Like I said, I know you've helped several of our owners, and what a tool to. It's almost like putting your retirement funds, to work, 10 times better, if you will, I guess. How about
Exactly.
what are the advantages of using the ROBS arrangement, for any business or self-storage business, particularly for our situation?
Absolutely. So today, when a lot of people might be, not as deep pockets in the cash end, but a person might say, yeah, I'm house rich and maybe cash poor. But in this scenario, when a person's trying to do funding and it's looking for a good loan, the lender's always going to want that non-borrowed cash injection. And a person's going to be able to preserve their cash, but potentially they have an IRA or a 401k that had been just sitting there, and they're going to be able to use those funds for this literally two-piece puzzle, using the funds without taking a taxable event, which is huge, big tax savings, and without incurring an early withdrawal penalty, as long as the IRA or the 401k has never been taxed.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I know a lot of our owners, they use the SBA program, and it takes 15% down, and they're taking out anywhere from $5 to $8 million loans. So, and they use that the ROBS program for their 15% down. So it's just been a great tool for some of our owners.
It's
Are there any restrictions of how the funds from the ROBS arrangement can be used?
perfect question. So with regard to that, the funds that would literally be moving out of an old retirement account, person has a regular traditional IRA, those funds would actually be going into what we would be creating for them, a new 401k. So when the funds go into the brand new 401k of their new business, those funds could actually be then wired in a lump sum to their company bank account, and they could be used for any business expenses, even salary, and most importantly in this equation, to represent or to be used towards that 15% cash injection the bank looks for.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. I guess you kind of answered my next question, and in regards to, especially for our listeners thinking about building self storage, can the ROBS arrangement be used to build self storage, buy a self storage operation? So all the above that would qualify.
Absolutely, it sure would. It's a perfect fit in this franchise.
Fantastic. Are there any specific qualifications or experience required to use the ROBS arrangement?
With regard to that, the key is that as long as the individual's funds are pre-tax, and as long as they're not from a current employer. If someone out there has a substantial 401k, they've been with the company for 30 years and they were not retiring or leaving, unless that individual was over 59 and a half, that particular 401k couldn't be tapped into. But if they've got a regular IRA, maybe they've got a couple of retirement accounts, maybe someone has a partner, a spouse, or an investor, and collectively they're going to be teaming up and they're looking to together get that 15% cash injection from multiple pre-tax accounts.
Very nice, very nice. How about are there any tax implications using the ROBS arrangement for any business, self-storage business?
Well, actually, the great thing about it is that in this scenario, this rollover as a business startup, which actually is a self-directed 401k, we at Tenet would be setting up their corporation. We're going to set up that new 401k plan. Now, the beauty of this is that when the 401k that is set up gets those new funds, when those funds are going to be able to be moved to their company bank account without having that implication of a taxable event, it is actually because that 401k is investing in their entity. They're actually getting shares of stock in this transaction.
It just always feels better when you get to hold on to your money and you don't see it disappear to paying taxes. So that's great.
Oh, exactly. It's probably going to save an average person 35 to 38%
That's
because
huge.
they will avoid the early withdrawal penalty, which would be 10%. And if a person took out an IRA and they didn't know about this option, that would be a taxable income. So if you had a $400,000 IRA and you were 56 years old and you took that out, you would get a whopping loss in that taxable scenario.
That's huge. That's huge.
Right.
About how does the ROBS arrangement compare to traditional financing options?
All right. So it literally is, in essence, the opposite of a loan, because in this scenario, the individual is not borrowing those funds. There's not there's no interest rate. It's not a loan. There's not a required payback schedule. They're really tapping into their own funds. So it literally is a non-debt option. A person's credit score or any other potential blemishes or whether or not they had collateral. None of those things take into consideration whatsoever because they're tapping into their own funds.
About can a person have partners or spouse in the rollover funds? How's that work?
They absolutely can. The person could have a spouse, they could have a partner, they could have any individual that's going to be affiliated with it. And they're going to be able to both tap into those funds. They're both able to then use those funds penalty free and without a taxable event.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So lastly here, what's the approximate time frame, especially for us and our franchisees for once they connect with you and they start the process and when are the funds available? How's that look?
Sure. So basically, based upon a couple of variables, where the person is setting up that entity that we help with, it is going to be approximately 5 weeks, give or take a little bit, from the time that we start the process to set up their corporation and the funds are going through the process. We're going to get all their federal tax ID numbers. We'll do the minutes and the bylaws. We'll help with all the compliance forms. But then when the money goes into their company bank account, it's completely liquid, somewhere near 5 weeks.
That's a lot faster than I would think, so that's great. Well, Diane, it's I try to cover a lot of the high level questions that we get from our owners, and so this would be really helpful for what a fantastic tool this is. That I think a lot of individuals don't know about out there. So the rollover business startup, it's a great tool. We'll post this out there on our platforms. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners how they can find you?
Absolutely. My email is Diane, DIANE, at tenetfinancialgroup.com. Tenet is spelled TENET. So Diane at tenetfinancialgroup.com. My phone and text number is 413-354-4662. And yeah, happy to be able to help answer any questions and allow individuals to be able to really become entrepreneurs and tap into funds that might have been just sitting there.
That's great. And I'll post your information below as well, Diane. But I know you've really handled some of our owners with the white gloves, and we appreciate that. So we always have the confidence introducing you. So thank you for your time today. Again, I'm sure this will be helpful to future owners thinking about doing this.
Perfect. My pleasure. Well, glad to help out and look forward to the upcoming months and have a wonderful, successful year.
Thank you, Diane.
My pleasure.